Antonio Guterres, UN High Commissioner for Refugees, recently visited the Damba camp. He was accompanied by Ann Richard, U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for Population and Refugees.
I think that what is very important to underline is that we have now 250,000 refugees from Mali with an enormous level of suffering and deprivation. They had crossed the borders of very poor countries that face dramatic food security problems: Niger, Mauritania and Burkina Faso.
The 250,000 refugees are scattered in various countries of the Sahel. Despite the hospitality of the host countries, the living conditions of the refugees is highly precarious. The High Commission for Refugees cannot meet the enormous demands caused by this situation. It launched an appeal for $153 million, but has received only $50 million, one-third of what it needs.
We know that a little help can go a long way, and so I'm hoping that we can bring more donors to learn about these situations and to take positive action.
I'm very happy that I'm joined by the Assistant Secretary of State, Ann Richards. My appeal is for the international community to show with the Malian refugees and with the people and governments of Burkina Faso, Niger and Mauritania exactly the same solidarity.
Guterres called for aid for uprooted Malians who have fled violence. He also called for help for the host countries in the Sahel who take in the refugees. According to the High Commission for Refugees, this issue is one of the most neglected human rights causes in the world.
The Russian president has made a plea for leniency on behalf of 3 women standing trial for staging a protest inside a church. The women are accused of composing a song that is critical to Vladimir Putin. The alleged crime was committed during the riots that preceded the presidential election in Russia. Details in this report.
3 women members of the punk protest group called Pussy Riot caused a scandal last February by singing a punk prayer in a church in Moscow. Their lyrics called on the Mother of God to drive President Putin away. This was one of a number of protests against Vladimir Putin in the run-up to Russia's presidential election. The performers were charged with hooliganism and were immediately detained in prison, where they remain.
Mr. Putin is taking personal revenge. There's one simple reason why they are locked up. The girls expressed a different opinion than his, and they asked the Holy Mother to help get rid of the president who was illegitimately elected.
The Russian church accuses Pussy Riot of blasphemy and has asked the court to hand down a severe sentence in a trial that started earlier this week. The 3 women risk 7 years in prison.
It is obvious to many people, especially professional lawyers, that what is going on is an infernal operation. But what we hope is that the defense can bring evidence in favor of the accused and that this evidence will be taken into account by the judge.
Support for the 3 members of the Pussy Riot punk protest group is gaining international momentum. The case is pitting President Putin and the Russian Orthodox Church against the 3 young women. President Putin now says he is not in favor of tough punishment. While Russian opinion is split about the case, there is growing support for the group.
We'll now take our second break.
If you have any questions that you want answered during the holy month of Ramadan, all you have to do is to send us a text on the following numbers: AfriCell on 2020 200, QCell 3030 300, Chromium 60 60 600, or on the Gamcell line on 999 0909. Your questions answered this Ramadan on GRTS.
Welcome back. The football world held its breath last March when Fabrice Muamba suffered cardiac arrest during a match. Doctors say the midfielder's heart stopped beating for 78 minutes, but now the star has recovered, and in a rare interview with CNN's Alex Thomas, Muamba says he actually kicked a ball round 2 months after his near-fatal experience.
I was on holiday and we were staying in a hotel, and there was quite a few of the footballers in the hotel as well. So the staff of the host, they normally play football game between the staff and the visitor. So I was by the pool and I heard they playing football. I was like, oh really? I was like, yeah. That was me thinking, maybe I should try. Then I went across to like, there's the other footballer playing. And I look, I said, no, I told my friends, I said, Shona, listen, I'm sorry, but I'm going to go play football. It's like, are you sure? I said, yes. And I just went in there. And I went to play football.
Shona just let you? Your fiance said, fine?
Are you sure? I said, yeah. But she was scared. But I just went in there, I just went through the groove of it, and I just played for about 20, 25 minutes. And,
how did your temporary teammates react to seeing you take the pitch?
I never took the pictures of anybody. But I've told you guys, so you guys got the best news of everybody. So, I mean, it was just to get back in the groove and to get back in momentum. It was just great. But I hope to God that I can actually get in there myself with the 11 players in the pitch and then to play. It would be fantastic.
I bet they were all treading around eggshells, were you? They're afraid to tackle you.
No, it wasn't ever that. It was just like, just play as normal guys. It was just playing like I was training, you know. It was great. I enjoyed it.
Interesting. And before we go, a reminder of our headlines. President Jammeh has described energy as the most important catalyst for socio-economic development and poverty eradication. Child Fund The Gambia has launched a 6-month relief operation targeting 32 West Coast region communities affected by the 2011 crop failure. U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has urged the leaders of Sudan and South Sudan to resolve their dispute over oil revenue peacefully. And the United Nations High Commission for Refugees has appealed for financial assistance to shelter and feed over 200,000 Malian refugees. You can monitor GRTS Radio live on our website at www.grts.gm. That brings us to the end of this midday news. Thanks for the pleasure of your company. Stay tuned and enjoy our range of interesting programs. Until then, my name is Apo Khadawa.
If you have any questions that you want answered during the holy month of Ramadan, all you have to do is to send us a text on the following numbers. AfriCell on 2020 200, QCell 3030 300, Chromium 60 60 600, or on the Gamcell line on 9990909. Your questions answered this Ramadan on GRTS.
مولاي صل وسلم